So this is What Mountain Bike's Trail Bike of the Year for 2016, and the bike we're talking about today is the Commencal Meta AM V4 Race 650B RockShox Red, somewhat snappily titled. So Commencal sent this bike in for 2016 because it was actually 2015's winner, although a slightly different version of the same bike. So we're really interested to see how this bike stacked up this year against last year's model. Within the context of Trail Bike of the Year, it's definitely one of the bigger travel bikes. Because of that high pivot placement and the general shape of the bike, it does pedal well, but if you are looking for a bike for all-day adventures, there's possibly better options out there. That said, if you do want to just winch to the top of the hill and then go full bore down it, the Commencal Meta really is designed around this sort of riding. While some of the bikes in Trail Bike of the Year have gone for, say, a carbon frame, Commencal have stuck to aluminium, and this has meant that they've spent their money wisely in different areas. So for example, we've got the top of the line RCT3 Pike, and we've also got a really decent RockShox Monarch Plus Debonair rear shock. SRAM have also provided the gearing with the 1x drivetrain, which is better than last year's 10-speed with an expander cog, so we've got proper 11-speed here. Commencal have mixed SRAM with a bit of E13 in there too, so we've got E13 cranks, and this is also reflected in the wheel build. They're based around Commencal's in-house Ride Alpha hubs and then E13 rims. The E13 rims have a reasonable 23.4mm internal width, and this gives a pretty good profile to the triple compound Maxis tyres that you find front and back. Looking at the cockpit, you've got again Ride Alpha kit. It's nicely shaped, a reasonably wide bar and short stem, reflecting sort of a slightly more progressive geometry. We've got the almost ubiquitous RockShox Reverb Stealth dropper post, and then yet again we've got a Ride Alpha saddle there, which is a really comfortable perch. So I'm going to pass over to Guy Kesteven, who's going to tell you a little bit more about how the bike rides.
Obviously the bike that won the Trail Bike of the Year testing last year was always going to be a front runner for the testing this year. And while there's a lot of changes and we've actually gone down the travel range slightly with a lot of the bikes that ended up in our top 10, the Commencal just felt immediately sorted as soon as we jumped on it. The position's slightly controversial because you've got a high-rise handlebar on there, but once you've dropped it low on the steerer, the boxy stem means good stiffness up front. Once we dropped those spaces out, we didn't worry about the handling again. The shocks behaving really well, straight out of the box. It seemed to blow through more rapidly from last year, but this year it just holds itself a bit higher over bigger hits, and that keeps you on more of an aggressive footing. It also improves the climbing as well, and together with a really good Maxis tyre spec, it just claws its way up stuff in a way that would embarrass a lot of the 130mm bikes and certainly make a lot of the 160mm bikes, which is obviously its home category, feel very baggy and wandery and just not as committed. The split welded top tube is a bit of a love-hate feature, but it puts the shock in a really easy position to adjust anything you need to on the ride, though again it pedals so well with the cunning overlapping linkage that we never really felt a need to actually reach down and grab that lever. We just targeted the top of the hill, carried on pedaling, and it would claw its way up there, even when a lot of other bikes, which theoretically have a more efficient pedaling stroke, just were struggling to get up there or spitting traction. Although I've talked about it sitting slightly higher in the travel over hits, it still really hunkers down and slings itself around turns beautifully. And it's just a bike you feel like you can absolutely blast on straight away, clip in and just go for it.
So there you have it, the Commencal Meta AM V4 is a really well-mannered 160mm trail bike that you really can take anywhere. It's got an improved spec over last year's Trail Bike of the Year winning bike, and it's still up there with some of the best trail bikes out there. So we're covering 12 of our favourite Trail Bike of the Year bikes in this video series. But if you really want to know what the winner is straight away, then you can go and purchase What Mountain Bike issue 186. It's on sale now, and you can find links for Android and iOS in the description below.